Hey guys, Jeff coming at ya. Wanted to give you guys a little update on the Foxbody Mustang. Today was a good day. Received a whole bunch of parts to go towards my carb swap on the small block Ford. So here's some of the parts I've acquired to get this swap underway. First things first, I got myself a 750 CFM vacuum secondary 4150 Holley carb. Got it at a pretty good price. Probably needs a good thorough cleaning and stuff, but it did come off a running engine, so that's pretty good. The second biggest piece of the puzzle when swapping any car from EFI to carbureted is you need an intake manifold to accept the carburetor. Take a look at that beauty right there. See if I can zoom in here. So that is a Summit Stage 2 racing intake. Dual plane design. So it has two separate runners right there. It's basically a Hawaiian Street Warrior intake, but Summit has its own brand. It's cast in China, I think. Actually, I think somewhere right on it. It actually even says that. Yeah, it says cast in China right in the corner right there. Anyways, yeah, so that's the Summit Stage 2. And like I said, it's sort of their knockoff brand of the Hawaiian Street Warrior intake. It's a good intake. It's good. Makes power from 1500 RPM all the way up to 6500 RPM. So that coupled with the 750 Holley, that should be good. What else do we got here? We got a rebuild kit for the Holley carb. Just all your jets and your gaskets and needle valves and everything. That's part number 37-1542. And that does the 4160s and 4150 double pumpers. I have fuel pressure gauge. This is going to help me dial in the carb when I get everything all sorted out. And I got a dual feed fuel line kit. So that goes right. Yeah, so there's a port right there. There's the other port right there. So, and another piece we got a 1-inch carb spacer. So the theory I figured out with the carb spacer is when it comes to intake manifolds, dual plane, I maybe have this backwards, but dual plane makes more torque and horsepower on like the lower RPM scale, good for street cars. Single plane intake manifolds like the Victor Jr. and stuff like that, more horsepower but at the higher end of the RPM scale, so you're not really making anything down low where you would want it for a street car. It's all in the top of the RPM range where you would have like a drag car where you're always just wide open throttle, just hitting through those gears. So having a 1-inch spacer like this on top of a dual plane manifold sort of gives it the mimic of a single plane. It's got a nice wide open bore, so it's just gonna throw that fuel and air in one spot. So hopefully, maybe I don't know if it'll give me any better airflow, or it might just make the air and fuel flow better. But it's sort of supposed to take like a dual plane and sort of give it like a cheap single plane aspect, so you get sort of best of both worlds. So yeah, I'm gonna have that on top of there. I got my carb, fuel line, fuel pressure gauge. I still need to get a fuel pressure regulator to really dial in the Holley carb. I think they like to be around 7 to 8 psi. I still need to get a timing cover from a carbed Mustang to allow me to run a mechanical fuel pump. And then I'll have to modify my fuel tank. It's got the EFI drop-in fuel pump right now. That pumps out way too much fuel, so that's going to come out. I'll have to make a fuel line that runs from the top of the sending unit to the bottom of the tank. Make new lines to the car. Yeah, so I still need a timing cover. If I can find an old fuel sending unit from a Carb Mustang, I'll take that. And I need a mechanical fuel pump. And then another piece of the puzzle, which I can't show you in the video right now. Probably the biggest piece of the puzzle I got for this car is a full wiring harness, chassis and engine bay from an 84 Mustang, which came with a Carb. That will be huge. Instead of rewiring the car, I can take out all the crappy wiring, all the EFI wiring that was in it, switch over the wiring harness, and I should look just like a regular Carb Mustang. And and tomorrow I'm also picking up a stock vacuum advanced distributor and the Ford DuraSpark ignition box, which is super bonus. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. Things are going really well. I almost got all the parts I need. You know what? Not even that expensive either. The Carb was $125, and this is Canadian, mind you. Carb was $125. The intake manifold, let's see, this is an American, but it was $182 American. I think it was just shy of $300 to get the intake manifold shipped here. And then fuel lines, fuel gauge, rebuild kit, and the spacer from Mopac was $179.50, and I paid the guy $60 for the wiring harness, and the distributor and ignition is $50. Both those parts are used. So all in all, like, everybody always says they shy away from, swapping over to carbs. They're saying it's super expensive. It's really not that bad. And not to mention, I sold all the stuff from my EFI car, the intake, throttle body, cold air intake. I sold the fuel rail, adjustable fuel regulator, fuel injectors. And that's all bought in this stuff so far. Actually, I haven't spent a dime of my own money. So anyways, it can be done. It will be done. Stay tuned for part 3 where we start bolting all this stuff together and we go wicked fast in the Mustang. Talk to you guys later.